What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Raw Real Podcast. We are your host. With me, as always, is Coach Tony T. And this week, my name is Shane the Pain, and I came to entertain.
And nobody calls you that.
Moving on.
Nobody calls that.
Our very first sponsor is Swag TV. If you want to access over 3,000 live channels and over 25,000 movie and TV series titles, go to www.swagiptv.com to sign up for your 24-hour free trial today. Thank you very much, Swag TV, for your sponsorship. We greatly appreciate it.
SwagIPTV.com. Wow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to do a quick update from our first segment last week on the sound of freedom. And Tony, all the issues that were happening in the U.S. movie theaters a couple weeks ago now appear to be happening in Canadian movie theaters too. I've seen videos as far as the Maritimes and Nova Scotia and the Atlantic region as well, where people are trying to watch the movie and fire alarms are going off. They're experiencing technical difficulties. But I am pleased to announce that if you are from the Montreal or Quebec region, Guzzo Cinema is proudly airing this movie. So I urge you to go to your local Guzzo Cinema and watch the movie for yourself. And we want to thank Guzzo Cinema for their voice in our community on this particular topic, child sex trafficking and sex trafficking in general. And we're very, very proud that they are speaking up against or speaking up with us with regards to this particular topic. So thank you, Guzzo Cinema. We appreciate what you're doing in our community.
And Vince Guzzo was big on during COVID times. He had the interview with Frank from 92.5.
Yes, Freeway Frank.
Freeway Frank had a great interview. So this man is always about doing the right thing. So Vince Guzzo, respect
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guzzo. We appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to our first segment of the day. It's What's Trending. And Tony, I don't know if you've heard, but Twitter is rebranding, and they're no longer going to be called Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be called X. And this platform is actually going to evolve into not only an interaction type of platform, but it will be designed for unlimited interactivity centered in audio, video, messaging, and payments, as well as a global marketplace for ideas, as well as goods and services, and other opportunities. What it really sounds like to me, Tony, is it sounds like another Facebook.
No, honestly, and look, because I like Twitter, right? I like Twitter. I hardly use Facebook. Twitter is where I get most of my information. And now, if you know, there's the verified user account where you pay $7 or $8 a month, depending on where you are. Now, what happens with that? If you post something and it gains popularity, Twitter, under your account, if you're a verified account, they put advertising. Now, if it gets popular and people click on the advertising under your post, you're making money. There's a lot of people that are now making hundreds to thousands of dollars. They're receiving payment from Twitter now
from all these sponsored ads that are being.
So it's not like Facebook. Well, Facebook, you can make money off the marketplace, but I don't think Facebook has the platform where they actually pay people money for advertising. Whereas Twitter, if you're a verified account user, you can get paid. And people were surprised. They posted it and then confirmed that they have received these payments. So people are enjoying it. And I don't know why the name change, to be exact, but the platform, the way it's going, it's already started. It's already rolling. My Twitter hasn't changed to X yet. Maybe I have to update
mine
it.
either. Mine either.
But it's different. It's different where you can get paid if you're a verified user. So the more you post, the more you can get paid, which
amazing.
is very interesting. So,
that's amazing. Yeah. Elon Musk, thank you very much for that feature. Tony, but like you said, you use Twitter, right? Do you think it's going to be easy for you to change your language from tweeting to Xting, or instead of retweet, Rexing? I mean, I don't know how comfortable people are going to be changing their entire verbiage and language around this marketing change.
People who are hell-bent on social media, maybe they care. Me personally, I don't really care. I don't even, I tweet. I'll probably still say I tweeted. Like,
so you want to adopt the new language. You want to adopt the new terms.
I posted it. Xing, like, okay, whatever. I don't care. They're saying the videos are going to be called X videos.
X videos.
Which if you go on the internet and write X videos and you put a .com next to it,
You're gonna find
let me
some
tell you something.
some very suspect content. That's
It would
for
have
sure.
nothing to do with Twitter. Okay.
Absolutely nothing. But here's the thing, Tony, because Facebook, they also changed their name to Meta. And I'm wondering, like, have you heard anybody adopt the new term of going on their Meta account or add me on Meta? Because to be honest with you, I don't think people are going to want to make that change verbally or linguistically, shall I say.
Not really, and you still see it's still Facebook when you open it and it's written by Meta. And this whole metaverse thing was supposed to be a thing with the VR goggles and people living in their own world in the VR goggles. Honestly, I think we're a bit far from that because we still have the people kind of like you and me, right? What are we? We're called boomers.
We're boomers.
We're
yeah.
boomers, right? So we still got we still got us. We're still going to teach our kids like, look, my kids, they are going to learn computers and stuff like that. They have their phones and stuff like that. Nintendo Switch, yes, I want them to learn, but there's still the thing of being with people and this whole
Yes.
metaverse thing with VR goggles. Like, it's still not the real world. It's
Yeah,
still
but you know
not
what?
real
We're
interactive.
so disconnected, Tony. And you know, Sebastian Maniscalco said it best in his stand-up.
Maniscalco?
Maniscalco said it best. You know, back in the day when people used to knock on the door, we used to go running to the door, open the door, put the best cake on the table, make coffee. We've got company over. We were excited.
Sanka.
But now, when someone comes knocking on the door, you're closing the drapes. You're
Yeah.
looking through the people. Who the hell is coming to my house without calling first?
You're
So
right.
you can see things have kind of changed. But here's another thing I wanted to ask you. Do you think Elon Musk is taking a stab at Mark Zuckerberg because Mark Zuckerberg came out with Threads, which is supposed to be direct competition to Twitter? So do you think that Elon Musk's incentive was to one up Mark Zuckerberg?
It may be, honestly, it may be, and I don't know how much Threads is gaining popularity, or if it's not. Like, I haven't checked the numbers. I don't have Threads. I'm not going to add another social media thing. Like, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's TikTok. Like, enough. You know, like, we don't need more. I don't want more. I hardly go on our own TikTok account sometimes. You know, to do our things. Like, right now, personally, I use Twitter, but yes, it may be to one up him. But honestly, with the way he's paying people, Mark Zuckerberg needs to one up that, because really, he can practice all the BJJ he wants, which I think will be a perfect segue to what you're going to say.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know, right now, Elon Musk, all he wants to do, I think, is make money, because he spent $44 billion on Twitter when somebody just spent $6.05 billion on the Washington Commanders and is able to change the name. Like, why didn't you buy the Washington Commanders for $6 billion?
Yeah.
Own a football team, and you can change that name because it's a horrible name.
Very good point.
Okay.
Very good point.
So, yeah, so he just needs to make money, and I think this is a good way. A lot of people are making money, so this way, if the user makes money, you're making money,
and I think it
everybody's
just
making
adds
money.
value. It adds value to
Exactly.
the social media site itself as well, because there are more ways for you to interact. So that's a great point. I guess my very, very last question on this, Tony, is obviously we've heard rumors in the media where Mark Zuckerberg has agreed to fight Elon Musk in a MMA fight in the Coliseum in Rome. Do you think that will ever happen? And who do you think would win that fight?
I heard a conversation where, Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury are fighting. And, obviously Dana White might be a bit mad. And I think it was Brendan Schaub who said the only fight that would maybe surpass that in terms of views is that fight.
Yes.
But it would be a terrible fight.
It would be. It would be. It would be a shit show. 1,000%.
It seems like Zuckerberg is training with the Izzy.
Yes. He's got coaches. He's
And
got
Volk.
some actual coaches.
But still, like, how good are you gonna be? It's gonna be a shit show, basically. You're right. And look, I don't know what it will generate views, it'll generate interest, but in terms of the quality of the fight, that would be anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic, folks.
Anticlimactic.
All right. Well,
Well,
I think it's going to be a shit show as well. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even if they did a pay-per-view, I wouldn't watch it. I would pirate it. That's what I would do.
Oh yeah, for
I would
sure.
pirate it.
And can I just anticlimactic?
Anticlimactic.
Yes. I
There
got
you
it
go.
before the show ends. Yes. I know how to say words.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next topic. What peeves me off? This is like our therapy session, right? This is the therapy session of our show. We get to get things off of our chest. We get to tell you what peeves us off about what's going on in society today. And Tony, I think I got a couple good ones, man.
I think you do.
backseat drivers or passenger drivers. Now, these are the people, folks, who are sitting in the passenger seat or in the back seat and are constantly giving you directions to go this way or to go that way or get in that lane or go in this lane. And
is the name Shane?
I've been guilty of this myself. But I can tell you I hate it more when it's done to me than when I'm doing it to others.
Okay, you don't realize when you're doing it to others. That's the thing. You know, you just want to make sure they're going to the right spot. But yes, when you're driving, somebody telling you next to you, well, where to go is like, it's okay. I know. Don't worry.
And like
Okay?
we've lived in the
And
same
if I
city
don't-
our whole lives,
Yeah.
right? And like one thing that kind of like blew my mind about you that I realized the other day is like you still put your GPS on, and I thought, me being stupid, I thought it was because you didn't know your way around. No, Tony is being efficient. He's being practical. He's trying to find the quickest route to where he's going, right? But
And a lot of times, traffic, I'm telling you, the times, especially when I use highways, I know where I'm going. But the times where I don't use the GPS, I'm stuck in full on traffic. I could have taken a different route. And every single time it happened, you know, I'm like, you know what, this time I won't put the GPS. Boom, stuck in traffic. Okay, I'm going to put it all the time. I'm just going to, it doesn't take much data. I'll put it on. Quickest route, easy peasy.
how should we handle, or how should we advise our audience to handle situations like that in the future? Right? Not we don't want to cross the line and say, you know, shut up and be rude and whatnot, but how could we let our friend or significant other or family member know that, hey, I got this?
Look, if you just be honest and, you know, where do I turn here? Where's the next turn? You know, just be honest if you don't know where you're going. But sometimes, look,
No,
sometimes
but like what I mean, if you're the driver, how do you handle a situation where your passenger is trying to tell you where to go? Like, what's the best way to tell them, hey, I got this. Don't worry.
well, generally it's a close person that you know, so you can just be honest with them up front.
Just straight up
Look,
say
bro, I know where I'm going. Okay, just and also another thing we should touching my radio.
Don't
Yo,
touch
don't touch
an
my
Armenian man's
radio.
radio. Don't
Let's-
touch an Armenian's man's radio.
Don't touch anybody's radio. You know, if I'm in somebody else's car, you gotta ask. You know, can I change the song? All right, man. Here, the phone is there. Change the song.
Yeah, don't
know?
take it upon yourselves to get
Yeah.
into someone else's car and start playing with their radio.
Yeah.
But you know what else peeves me off, Tony?
Tell me.
It's those individuals who are stopped at a red light, all right, and they decide, okay, I'm going to play on my phone for a couple seconds. And then all of a sudden the light turns green and they're sitting there distracted on their phone.
Oh, you're talking about Tony.
I'm talking about Tony. I'm talking about Tony, folks.
See, I know I'm self-aware. You know, I'm self-aware, right? And look, guys, that's the worst thing you can do. You think you know the timing of the light, and then you're just you're stuck on
How
your
does
phone.
how does it make you feel when they honk you out of it?
I messed up.
Do you get embarrassed?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Do you try
Like,
and speed off, or do you just like do a cool, calm, collective?
Yeah, I do it pretty calm, collective. It's fine, you know. But guys, try to keep an eye on the light, especially you know the timing of it. If it's a street that you know, if it's a street that you don't know, just come on, man. Just get off the phone. Don't be a Tony. Don't be a Tony.
Don't pick up your phone while you're in the car. Guys.
Don't be a Tony.
Don't touch your phone. right?
Exactly.
Don't text. Don't look at your phone. Pay attention to the road.
Yeah, and if you're gonna change a song, you stop. It's red. Change it. Continue.
Be responsible. folks.
Don't play. Be responsible. Don't be a Tony.
But
Don't be
ladies and
ashamed.
gentlemen, let us know in the comments below which you think, what peeves you off the most. We'd love to hear from you and cover some of your suggestions in our future segments. All right, moving on to the next one, Tony. And we're going to cover the great debate. Ooh. And I got a good one, ladies and gentlemen, and I really love all of your input on this one. Tony, which sport deserves to be called football? Is it American, aka tackle football, or is it the European football, soccer?
Look, the fact that the sport is called football, it's soccer, right? Especially in American football, when you kick the ball, it's the lowest amount of points you can get, right? The rest of the time, you have to catch it or hold it in your hand, right? So in reality, football is soccer, football, soccer. That's what it should be called. But I'm going to tell you one thing. it really sounds better with the American football.
It really
like
does.
it's a football.
Yeah.
Hook it, chuck it, football. You know what I'm saying?
I think the American football deserves it because they're the more manly sport. They're the sport that most contact happens. I mean, have you ever seen contact happening in soccer and the charade that goes on, the theatrics, the soap opera, over the top, reactions, and then you got these trainers coming on the field and they're taking a spray of water and they're spraying the guy's ankle, and then all of a sudden he's better now.
The magic spray.
I mean, come on, guys.
You know what?
I can't stand it.
Women's soccer is tougher than the men's.
I believe it
yeah.
1,000%.
It's insane.
1,000%.
These women going hard at each other. They're not falling extra. They're not doing none of that. None of those theatrics.
The Italians are the worst, man. I'm sorry to say it. I got a lot of friends out there that are Italian, but your soccer team is the worst, especially when they start throwing themselves across the field. I mean, are we watching a play or are we watching a sport? I don't know. I really don't know. When it comes to that, I really don't. And to be honest, I'm an avid football fan. So
Yeah,
American
honestly.
football fan. So there is a bit of bias there.
Yes.
There is a bit of bias, but ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments below. All right. We'd love to hear from you.
Even
All
if
right.
you think football sounds better for the tackle game,
We want
let
to
us
know.
know. Let us know. And there's no shame in it because it does sound better. But really, guys, football,
Ball.
It's simple as that. And we move on.
We move on. Guys, this is our favorite segment of the evening.
Ooh.
It's Conspiracy Talk. And we've got a couple of really good ones for you tonight, folks. First one, Obama's personal chef found dead. Apparently, Tony, this man who was professionally trained swimmer drowned in a pond paddle boating.
Tafari Campbell, is that his name?
Tafari Campbell. Rest in peace, Tafari. But it makes you wonder, man, what is going on around these Democrats? Because if we look at the Clintons, they've also got an alleged body count, right? They've got a lot of people who are mysteriously dying around them. And sources say it's because these people knew, family secrets or dirt on the family. So it begs the question, what did this guy know about Obama? Did he know that Michelle Obama was maybe Michael Obama? Did they know that maybe former President-elect Obama was having relations with a man and doing some suspicious recreational
Now,
type things?
just a quick disclaimer, all right? Because now we're talking like this, and I know that certain people like to suppress content because they think we think this is all real, and we always say it. This full disclaimer: we don't know
what we don't know.
We don't know, man. And these things could happen. Have you ever watched House of Cards?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So basically, you know what happens in House of Cards. I suggest everybody to watch it. It's, these are the type of things that happen where people all of a sudden, mysteriously go away.
Unalive themselves
Yeah.
or
Something happens to them.
mysteriously disappear.
Something happens to them because they know some kind of information. Now, for this man, apparently he knew something. Now, what happened? He was paddleboarding, right?
Yes.
He was paddleboarding in a pond. It was 8 feet deep, the pond.
Yes.
And the issue is that how did he drown? And he's a professional. Apparently, he swims.
Professionally
every day.
trained swimmer.
Professionally
and
trained,
I
all
think
that.
you
Now-
mentioned that it was the bottom of the pond itself
Yes.
was muddy, and if you were to get your legs stuck in it, there could be some like suction and you wouldn't be able to escape, right? And I think that you
Exactly.
mentioned that a lot of people or a lot of locals in the area that live around the area did mention this as well, that if you are going to go to that pond, it is recommended that you bring a buddy with you, just in case something similar happens. But what we have found out, ladies and gentlemen, was that a spokesperson or a representative from the fire department actually came out and said that it looked like this person's face had been bludgeoned and had been beaten. So does that really line up with the whole drowning paddleboarding story? Does that
Well, look, it could be he was on the paddleboard and he slipped, hit a rock. But the way they described, and look, this is the source is CBK News on Twitter, We don't know how real it is. This is just something that we just read, and the source did not want to be identified.
Correct.
So how real is the source? Again, a lot of people can spin their own narratives for these type of things. But one thing is for sure, there are multiple people who have mentioned that the ponds, they're like quicksand. The mud is like
Yes.
quicksand. So if you try to do any sudden movements, if you are stressed at that moment that you hit the sand and you try to move quick, it takes you like quicksand, the mud. And then you end up drowning. So it's always better to go 2x2. But again, if that story, the source says that
His
there
face was
his face
bludgeoned and whatnot,
beaten
yeah.
and all that, and there was traumatic force, blunt trauma, is that what they
Yep.
call it?
Blunt force trauma.
Blunt force trauma. We're gonna
Blunt, not
we're
blunt,
building.
blunt.
We're building.
We're building, folks.
We're building, folks. We'll put words together that make sense.
Eventually.
You know? And when you look at it from that perspective, then okay, maybe something happened that is suspect. It can happen, guys. Watch House of Cards. Maybe it'll give you an idea of how maybe some of these things work. And you had mentioned before about the Clintons, right?
Yeah. So, there have been several people that have been close to the Clintons that have, for lack of a better term, are deceased now, right? And one particular case was an individual who worked for Hillary Clinton's law firm and allegedly knew some dirt about the family themselves. And his death was deemed a suicide. And one of his family members actually questioned this. And not too long later, that individual died. So it just appeared, look at Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton sitting in a chair in a dress in his house. And now Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
Hey.
So,
Hey, we don't know what we don't know.
But
we're just saying, guys, we're just shooting stuff out there.
But we want your opinion. We want to know.
Let us know.
Do you believe that this individual had an unfortunate accident, or do you think that the evil powers that be got their hands on him and were tying some loose ends, for lack of a better term?
Hey, they got the money. We talked about Garth Brooks last week. Look, if you have the money, you can get rid of somebody very easily. It's not hard. It's a big country. The U.S. is a big country.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of land.
That's right.
And that's all there is to it. That's all there is
to it. A lot of things are going on that we don't have privy to, or that we're not privy to.
Hey, Walter White.
Breaking Bad.
Acid. I'll always bring that up, man.
Oh, man.
Get a tub, get acid, put the body parts. That's
but it makes you wonder, do you think this guy knew something about the Obamas and they just had to get rid of him?
You could probably find everything from every single politician there is.
Mm-hmm.
This is fact. Look, now Joe and Hunter, a lot of people want to ignore it. For the Trump, he's being indicted, right?
How come?
How
come the Bidens aren't, right? What's going on?
But I think he might be, there's in the background, they're talking about impeachment, which we'll talk about maybe. Let's see what happens, because it's not the first time I hear it, but nobody is really reporting it other than Fox News. So we don't know. We'd have to wait more, because a lot of people like to hide. The media likes to hide certain
elements of the
news of the story. So,
Absolutely.
It's all to be seen. Time reveals all. So we will wait and see.
Excellent. Well, guys, this brings us to our next conspiracy talk topic, and it's a bit sad to say the least. Bronny, if everyone who doesn't know who Bronny is, it's LeBron James's son, recently suffered a cardiac arrest during his workout at the University of Southern California, USC.
Yeah, USC.
So, yeah. And Tony, it makes me think, man, how are these athletes having heart attacks in their prime? I've seen statistics where in the last 30 years, a total of 1,500 athletes suffered cardiac arrest. In the last 30 years. We're seeing similar numbers now after 1-2 years of the COVID vaccine.
Same as the 30 years?
Yes.
So in the last 2 years, 1,500?
Yes.
And previous that it was. And look, that's a problem now, right? So people would say, it's like today, I heard on ESPN First Take. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the 4 letters, First Take. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that name. So, they're talking about, the main host was talking about how it's an anomaly. Well, right now, in reality, it's not really an anomaly, right?
It's
it has
happening.
happened.
Look at Damar
in the
Hamlin, right,
past.
from the Buffalo Bills,
Yeah,
who
and that
suffered a
they
heart
can say
attack.
it was from a hit, but there's other players that just have the cardiac arrest
Hmm.
just by running or whatever, and it's never happened. It's people are gonna blame it on climate change all of a sudden. Like,
No,
let's
it's
be
never
real.
happened this frequently and this
Exactly.
aggressively.
But
And
you,
keep in mind, guys, the COVID vaccine didn't pass the same rigor testing that all other vaccines did, right? But we don't want to go down the rabbit hole of that. We want to understand and we want to know from you what you think is causing these athletes to have heart attacks, just suddenly. All right. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. We really want to know.
and all I want to say also is when people bring it up, like online, oh, be sensitive to the subject. Everybody brings up automatically the vaccine. Well, when a celebrity passes away, you guys are always first to judge about them drug use or depression or whatever it is. Right away, you're trying to figure out what the reason is. So why are we getting angry at people who automatically say if he's asking if he's vaccinated or not? Like everybody, when somebody passes away, celebrity, automatically,
What drug did they take? What did
drug
they overdose
or
on?
what did they have anxiety? Did they have this? Did they have that? Oh, nobody respects that. But now, when you're asking about the vaccination status, which everybody was asking back in those days, what's your
Exactly.
vaccination? Now, when people are asking about somebody's serious health issue, oh, are they
Now
vaccinated?
you're not comfortable. So
Now you're not comfortable.
Just
Exactly.
to elaborate on Tony's point, right? It was okay for everybody to ask everybody what their vaccination status was when it was, entering a store or entering a restaurant or going to the movies or going to the gym. It was okay that we asked then. But when someone gets seriously injured and now we ask the question, hey, is that person vaccinated? Now we're supposed to be shunned in silence from asking that question? I don't think
And
so.
look, I won't speak for Shane, just to let you know where I have been double vaccinated. Okay, so just to let you know
Same.
where I'm coming from. Okay, I didn't want to say it because just to let you know where we're coming from, that we're not just trying to spew shit that we're not vaccinated or whatever, right? We're just letting you know we're vaccinated and we don't feel comfortable of telling you whether I am or not.
Yeah.
Like it's my thing. We're talking about my body, my choice.
That's right.
For several other subjects, but for this, it's the same thing. And even if you get it or not, you still got sick after. So like, it's really like nobody should be like, if you have a medical issue or something, like it's not for the whole world to know. So
that's information that should be
Yeah.
discussed between you and your medical professional. I totally agree with that.
But if people are curious about a certain thing, somebody had a serious issue, somebody passed away, we talk about, oh, is there drugs, is there depression, is it vaccination status? So don't get angry if we ask about one, but the others are okay, but we ask about the other one, it's not okay.
No, it's not taboo. All right. It's not taboo to talk about. All right. We should be able to ask this question because you guys should be keeping that same energy when asking us if we were vaccinated, right? I never personally, as someone who did make the decision to vaccinate, I never required anybody to tell me whether they were vaccinated or not. That's your business. I could care less what you do, right? It's my personal decision. But then there's always the argument we should be doing it for the greater good of our community, right? Sure. So let's all play Russian roulette and for the greater good of our community and see how you react to that.
Yeah, and look, in the end, I know people who were quadruple, triple vaccinated and then they got really sick. So It's like the flu shot, right? I have an uncle who takes flu shot. My aunt doesn't. My uncle gets flu every year,
Yeah.
It's just the way your body works and your immune system. And that's
Exactly.
all it is. It's nobody's judging. People just want to know, is it because of vaccination that all these cardiac arrests are happening? Because all people have noticed is that in the past 2 years, cardiac arrests
Have
on healthy
increased.
athletes,
Yeah.
healthy young athletes, not older.
In their prime.
Right? They're having more and more cardiac arrests, and it's concerning, and that's all people want to know.
What really turns me off, ladies and gentlemen, is the attitude from the other side when you ask the question, right?
Oh yeah, that's it.
It really turns me off. We should all be able to sit together at a table and have open discussions about this, right? But at the end of the day, my heart goes out to Brinny. All right, it goes out to Damar Hamlin. It goes out to any other athlete out there who suffered any adverse reaction from the COVID vaccine. It brings us to our next topic, which is our very first time introducing this segment. It's called the Raw Poll. And what we'd really like is to hear from you. So, Tony, they've already started the marketing campaigns for the COVID-19 boosters coming out this fall. What we'd really like to know, ladies and gentlemen, is will you be lining up to get yours? Tony?
I did not know something medical like this was like the lottery. Oh, hey, Lotto Max, $1 billion this week. Man, what is this, man?
Yeah.
Hey, we're rolling out the new COVID. Come on, man. Let's stop these games, guys.
Yeah.
We're not being forced, are we? Look, I haven't heard nothing about it. You told me this before we came here. So tell me, are they going to force people to take this or not?
I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but what I can tell you is that we're no longer in an emergency state, all right, where we require, some extraordinary type of lockdowns or restrictions or anything of that nature. But that could happen in a moment's notice. Me personally, I don't want to get near it. I'll be very, very honest with you. I don't want to touch it. What's really interesting is that, during the time of COVID, the flu was eradicated. Now, all of a sudden, the flu's come back. How did that happen? I thought once you go extinct, you can't come back to life. It's not how that works.
Look, man, we all know that this thing took a lot out of people in terms of mentally, and it divided a bunch of people
Big time.
throughout this whole time. And let's hope to God, Allah, whoever you pray to, okay? Let's hope that none of this really affects us in the future this way again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope they let us choose whether we take it or not. And that's all I could ask for, really, because the path we were going on in the past, the previous 3 years, was really, it was disgusting, man.
It was pretty ugly.
It was pretty ugly. Honestly, I hardly use the word disgusting, but it was really horrible the way people were treating each other off of this thing that has only been available for 3 years. They rolled it out quick. Somebody was comparing, but you trust a doctor with a quick kidney transplant over COVID? Hey, kidney transplant, the first kidney transplant was started in 1954. There's been nearly 70 years of studies on this thing.
Yes.
So, look.
And not nearly as enough on whatever it is, the boosters.
The problem is that both sides, like me and you, were like, man, maybe we were duped on this, right?
I was. I thought I was making.
But the problem is that the other side, the ones who, there's a lot of people who took it that they are still, to this day, defending taking the fourth, fifth. Hey,
I know people who are waiting to line up for it, which is why we want to ask you at home your thoughts. When they do introduce the COVID booster for this fall, will you be lining up to take it? Let us know. Leave us a comment. Make sure to share it with your families and friends so that we can get their responses as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Good or bad, guys. Good or bad. Doesn't matter. Healthy debate is good for society. That's what gets the community together.
1,000%. All right, guys. That's our show for this evening. Thank you so much for joining. And once again, if you enjoy what we do, please make sure to like, share, and follow our content. And of course, we've got here our mascot here today.
Yeah.
Here's our mascot, Alessio. How you doing, Alessio? Batman.
Which we're gonna. What are we gonna do? We're gonna cut him off. Yeah, we're gonna cut you off.
Me off. Sorry, but no.
He's the future. He's the future of our podcast.
No, I'm not.
So you're gonna sing for us to close us out, Alessio?
No, but sorry. No, nothing else.
Take us away.
All right.
Song for us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to seeing you next week.
I woke up, it was 7. I waited till 11 just to
please stop
figure out
singing,
the song. Okay. Good night, guys. Thank you.
How long?